provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where Irvin and myself come at you live at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time all the way to the 6 o'clock hour Central Standard Time. Guys, this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. This is the only place that you're going to get business strategy, business tips, business insight from two people who have made every mistake there is to make in the book, and we've also had a couple of successes along the way. Irv, how was your day today, sir?
Wonderful, man. Glad to have you back.
It's good to be back.
I heard you were out paddling around on a boat.
Man, I was on a cruise.
John Cruise on a cruise.
And
very funny.
I'm telling you.
Very funny.
Everybody on the boat thought that was very funny also.
Well, wait a minute, John. So what were you doing? Were you fishing, or what were you doing on that?
None of the above, actually. It was not your regular vacation. We took the managers of our medical business with us and took them up there for some team building, team bonding, and some vision exercises, and wanted to get everybody sort of congealed to the new culture that we're developing here.
You're developing culture.
We're developing culture.
And so you took your management out on a boat.
Took them out on a boat, got them out in the middle of nowhere, and they had no choice but to listen.
You can change culture if people are out stuck on a boat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get left out there because you weren't with the culture change.
That's right. That's right. So you're only bringing back the people who had drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak.
Drank the company Kool-Aid.
But no, it was a really good time. I had an opportunity to we took Bertrand McHenry with us.
Yeah, our good friend Bertrand.
Yeah, and Bertrand did some team building exercises and helped everyone sort of break down some barriers, get to know one another. You know, the thing is that we have 5 locations that we operate, and there was a culture of sibling rivalry that had developed with the clinics. And it's okay for that to be for that to exist as long as it exists in its place, but it gotten to the point to where our managers were not relying upon the successes of other managers. They started operating as islands unto themselves, and some of the problems that we had fixed in one specific clinic would manifest itself in another clinic.
Wow.
And so we sort of brought everyone in to sort of get a team focused behind what we were doing, so that the successes that we have at each individual clinic would resonate and permeate through all 5.
You know, it's interesting you talk about that, John, because, you know, on this show, I don't know where a business owner goes to hear people, and I know that there's got to be some on-air personalities who are actively involved in business, doing something in media on business.
There should be somebody.
You would think.
Yeah, I would think.
But, you know, we talk about a lot of invisible forces that make or break great companies, that separate good companies from great companies.
Right.
And I was just thinking about, while you were talking about that, how many management teams, how many people at the executive level would have even seen had the foresight, I should say, to take a look at the organization, notice a pattern of having to fix some of the same things over and over again.
Right.
And then, more importantly, get help like Bertrand McHenry to come along and set up a scenario where you can move the company forward.
You know, and I don't know the answer to that, but I would suspect that some of the top companies that we all see and want to pattern our companies after, when you talk about a Facebook, a Google, Microsoft, McDonald's, you know, I would think that those companies do those types of things.
No doubt.
And if you have identified in your branches, and if you have branches of your business, you'll start to see patterns. And those patterns, once you see what the problem patterns are and what the profit patterns are, it just makes perfect sense to compare and match that up in every branch that you have. And I promise you, what you'll see is that the problems and profit patterns are not going to be synonymous throughout all of your branches.
Sure, absolutely. And I got to say this, you know, you've sort of got to have your hand still on the wheel of the company.
Yes, you do. Firmly.
Yeah, to be able to detect that faint hint of rat in the air.
Certainly.
You know, I call it rat. I mean, you know, because I'm not nearly as polished as you, but I can always tell in my organizations when there is a rat someplace, and it really starts me to look at exactly where the rat is. And I'm not necessarily talking about a person. It could just be like we were talking about here, a culture,
right?
Where it's not the people necessarily, but the environment, the culture of the company, where now there's not necessarily a team effort where you know, everybody, you know, it's like on a football team. We talk about that a lot on the show, where all of a sudden a football player on a team is more interested in his stats,
right,
than he is in helping his team win.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And you're absolutely right in that. And I don't want to say that because some of our staff may be watching this show, I don't want to say that was the mindset that they had chosen and adopted consciously.
No, exactly. That's the point. That thing happens unconsciously.
That's right. But there's something called subconscious culture, and that subconscious culture is what you see that develops through patterns.
Sure.
And one of the things that we had noticed is that the managers of our businesses were not relying on each other to help solve problems, to move the team forward.
And that's the point I was getting at. This thing can happen unconsciously because it happens generally with very competent, competitive people.
Certainly.
And that's why I mean it's a sneaky thing.
Right.
Because it's not that somebody wakes up and says, hey, I'm just going to separate from the mothership and I'm going to do my thing. It's not that at all, actually. But I've seen it, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I've watched it happen. And, you know, in some of my earlier enterprises, of course, I wasn't as smart as you guys, where I could say, well, hey, maybe we sail you off on a boat and, you know, and give you an opportunity to get with the program here.
Yeah.
You know, so I wasn't quite that sharp.
Well, and neither was I before now. You know, and I had branches that didn't survive when I was running my mortgage business, and had I had the foresight then that I have now, we probably would have done something like this. It just sort of unplugs you from everything. Think about it. There are no cell phones, no Facebook,
wonderful,
and it's total dependence on each other.
Sure.
The time that we spent was with each other. There's only so far forward that you can go. There's only so far aft that you can go.
Right.
And actually this was Jeff Rose's idea.
Wow.
To take us outside of the city and outside of, you know, our self created comfort zone.
Sure.
And you know, he asked me to put the policy and the procedures together that we would adhere to, and I mean, it just turned out to be a fantastic opportunity to redevelop and define the culture that we are looking to create.
Yeah, Jeff is so presidential.
Yeah, very much so.
That you know, I was trying to find the right word, but I think the word is presidential.
Yeah.
Where, you know, he's the thermostat, not the temperature, but the thermostat. He can control the temperature.
Absolutely.
And boy, he keeps that thing red hot.
Oh man, 212
degrees. Yeah, that's exactly
212
right.
degrees. And if you don't know what 212 degrees is, that's the temperature at which water boils.
Yeah, and then when water boils, folks, you can move things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're talking a good rolling boil.
Yeah, I know that's right.
But, you know, one of the things I did want to mention while we were on this topic, now we're not going to, this is not a show about culture today, but some people did not understand what culture was.
Yeah.
And like I said, in every organization, you have conscious culture and you have subconscious culture. And believe me, if you're not consciously developing a culture in your organization,
that's right,
there is one that is developing. You can rest assured. But it may be a subconscious culture, and that can be very dangerous to a small business.
And let me tell you what, folks, you know, what John's talking about can absolutely roll up on you, because it's not something that you will necessarily know is coming. And the funny thing is about that, John, is a lot of times upper level management people won't detect that they've even got an issue until it's too late.
Right.
And boy, now you got real trouble.
Yeah. You know, and when we were on the boat, I sort of told a story about culture, and I explained that my mother and father divorced at an early age, and I was in the 3rd grade, and we moved from a small town in Brookshire, Texas. We moved inside the city, and the area that we moved into was largely the area that we lived in was mostly black folks, and where we moved to was in Alief, and it was mostly white people and Asian people, and just to let you know what culture existed in my home and in my community, children were seen and not heard.
Right.
When an elderly person or an elder walked into a room, you put a handle on that name by calling them Mr. or Mrs.
Right.
And you gave up your seat immediately.
Right.
And if you didn't, the punishment could be swift and severe. So the first thing that I noticed is that sometimes some of the other children in these other homes would challenge their parents.
Sure.
And that was what I would call culture shock.
Right.
You know, and so I related that to the type of culture that we have as an organization and the type of culture that we want to develop. And again, like I say, everything went well.
That's awesome.
It was a great trip, and now I just need a vacation from the vacation.
Well, I know if I ever challenged my parents, it would draw a handheld appliance.
Is that right?
That's exactly
so
right.
they had a good strict culture.
That's exactly right.
Guys, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs, but no matter where you are in the city, we always encourage you to go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, put your information in. Let us send you one each and every month as it comes hot off the presses, and I'm certain that you'll find the stories inspiring and will help lead you to business success. More in a moment with John Cruz and Irv Hughes. Please don't go away.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about we started
the 4 P's.
We're talking about the 4 P's today. We started out talking about culture,
right?
But now we're going to switch gears on you. And if you were part of the show that we did last week, if you listened last week, then you heard us give a show on the 11 principles.
Right.
And what these are, folks, is these are these non-academic things that Irv and I feel must exist in your business model, although this isn't something that you're going to have in a business plan.
Right.
It's nothing that you're going to have written in an action plan.
Right.
But these are those principles that you live by as a small business that we believe help shape and mold your organization for success. And every small business has to operate by a certain level of principles. And we mean by, for lack of a better term, if you overcharge a customer,
sure,
and the customer doesn't catch it,
right.
Irv, what do you do?
Very good example. Call it to their attention and fix it.
And refund that money.
Absolutely.
See, that's a business principle that your business has to be founded on. And what we're talking about are those business principles that you have to keep on the forefront of your mind. These are the rules and policies that you choose to operate by.
Right.
That we feel are necessary to put you on the path or the rails to success.
Sure, absolutely.
So we did a show on the 11 principles, and if you missed that, you can go back to last week and take a look at our archives and find that show. But today we want to talk about the 4 P's.
Right.
And, you know, when some people think of the 4 P's, they think about the 4 P's of marketing.
Right.
This ain't them.
No. That's right.
These ain't them.
That's right.
So we're talking about the 4 P's as it relates to the order in which, and I got to say, Irv, I think that this could be also served as a life lesson.
No doubt.
Not just business.
No doubt. No doubt. And you know what? We're not necessarily talking about the X's and O's here.
Right.
These are tenets. John talks about rules, principles, I should say, and we're talking about tenets here. And these are things that are sort of universal law, if you will, for running a good business. And quite frankly, these are good tenets for running a good life as well. And with that said, I kind of want to jump off on the first P.
Go ahead.
And that being profit.
That's right.
Now, a lot of people, I know as soon as I say profit, a lot of people start to bug out about that because, well, what do you mean you're putting money ahead of all these things? No, I'm talking about profit, and profit is not necessarily money. All right.
That's right.
Profit is benefit. Think of it that way. What is the benefit? You might ask in business, in your business plan, well, what is the profit or what is the margin? But think broader than that and think about what is the benefit. And the benefit, a benefit might be money. A benefit might be a position in a marketplace. A benefit might be a relationship. A benefit could be a lot of things.
Right.
And so when we start talking about these tenets, these principles, if you will, one of the first things is profit and understanding where that profit needs to be.
Yeah.
For example, it's one thing for you to be in a business for yourself and understand where your profit is going to be, but what's the profit for the person or persons that you're trying to serve?
Certainly.
What is going to be their profit?
Right.
If you're looking to attract partners or investors, what will be their profit?
Right.
What will be their benefit? Keeping in mind, not necessarily always money, but what is the benefit? Talking about, this profit thing kind of brings me to a place where, some of my greatest victories, by the way, some of my greatest victories were only upended by, my monumental failures. But where I was able to attract some of the best minds, it's interesting how quickly people with great skill sets, great experience, were willing to join me to help me move my business agenda along, but the profit that they got out of it was not always money.
Right.
And it's interesting because I had to learn to find out what profit was in it for them.
Right.
before we got into the actual invitation. Or as you like to say, John, on the show, what it is they want. What do they want?
Absolutely.
Out of the deal?
And that's one of the 11 principles. Finding out what someone else wants,
sure,
and making certain that they get it. That helps you get whatever it is that you want ultimately.
No doubt.
Now, and as we refer to profit, I'm going to break it down on a mundane level. Everything that you do in life, and I do mean everything, must first profit you. Now, some people would feel that that's a very self-centered way of looking at life. But, I'm reminded of the fact that every time I fly on an airline, the first thing that they tell me to do in the event that there's some disaster on the plane,
that's right,
when those oxygen masks drop from the ceiling, whose do they tell you to put on first?
Yours.
Your own.
That's right.
Because essentially, you can't profit me,
right,
if you haven't already profited yourself.
That's correct.
So, with that being said, I want to challenge what you may think about profit, and that you first have to cover the other side of the table, and that is not the case. Everything in your life that you do or that you dedicate yourself to must first profit you. That means that you don't wear the clothing that you wear unless it profits you.
Sure.
And you should be able to quantify that profit. And that profit, as Irv said, is not always financial or monetary profit. You don't choose a wife unless it profits you. You don't have children unless they profit you.
Right.
You don't choose a job unless it profits you. You don't choose a business that you want to get into unless you first identified how it's going to profit you. What's in it for you? That has to be established first.
It's got to be.
And there's a twofold layer to this, because now that you found out what profits you, you then have to make certain that the other person on the other side is also profited, or else there's imbalance in what you're doing.
Right.
Now, some people would say, well, let me say, what's the whole reason that you go to church every Sunday?
Because I benefit from it.
How so?
Well, because I'm fulfilled.
Okay.
During the course of the week, I might have a whole drain on myself.
Okay.
Just as a result of the rigors of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I may have negative things happen. I may have things happen to me just as a result of my neglect.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to have a place and a time to recover from that, to replenish myself, and get a better perspective on how I might be feeling.
Right.
And why I might be feeling this way, so I can deal with it.
Now, and the reward, for living a good Christian life is?
Well, now the reward for me of living a good Christian life is profit, because that's what I'm getting at. See,
but how does it profit you? At the end of it all. What's the end reward?
Well, I get to go to heaven.
Okay, well, it profits you to be a Christian.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
So each and every one of us does something because it profits us.
Correct.
And so now that in its simplest level, you need to now be able to identify, how does this profit me? If I'm going to go out and buy a $100,000 car, if you're buying it simply to look good from one red light to the next, well, that really isn't profit, is it?
No, that's pointless. That is pointless.
Well, and I'll tell you what that is. That's pride, and you put that in the wrong order. So the order in which we're giving you these P's are very important.
Sure.
And of the 4 P's, the first P is profit. Everything that you do must profit you. Now, if this is something that you want to talk about, if you want to join the conversation, you can feel free to give Irv or myself a phone call. Well, I'm saying Irv or myself as if you and I are going to pick up a different telephone.
Well, I don't know, but that's okay.
But if you want to call us and join the conversation, feel free to do so. You can reach us at 347-857-3958. Again, that number is 347-857-3958. We're talking about these non-academic strategies.
That's right.
If you will, that must exist in your business model. And we'd love to hear from you, or you can go into Blog Talk and jump in the chat room and ask your question, and our producer Stephen K is standing by to answer any questions that you may have. So we're talking about the 4 P's today, and this is not the 4 P's of marketing, and we all know that the 4 P's of marketing are product, place, Product, place, price, and promotion.
Right.
This ain't them, as I put it so eloquently.
These are not they.
These are not they. We're talking about the 4 P's that must exist in order for you to find success in your model. And these can also be life rules to live by. Everything that you do in your life first must profit you. And the second P is protection.
Wow. And let me tell you what, if you've understood what it takes for you to profit, and you understand how profit is to come, whatever form it might take, one of the things you better be doing is protecting, and get this, John, how about this? Not protecting the profit, but protecting the process that brings you the profit.
Wow.
A lot of people skip over this. And boy, I had to learn this the hard way.
And you know what? With that difference that you just mentioned, I want to make certain that you drill down on that a little bit when we come out of the break.
Yeah, when we do that, we will absolutely drill down on that. And that is this. Are you protecting the method, the model that brings you the profit that you like?
If not,
stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by GrowSocial.com. Maximize social media like Facebook and Twitter for your business. You can call Grow Social at 877-484-3961. More in a moment.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting at a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about the 4 Ps, and we're talking not about the 4 Ps of marketing.
Right.
We're talking about the 4 Ps in which you should use to structure your business. And we've covered the first 2. The first one was profit. The second one was protection.
Right.
And you sort of talked about protecting the system.
Right.
Or the process in which you make your profit.
That's correct.
Drive that on home.
Yeah. You know, when we went to break, we were talking about protection, and it's a big deal to talk about protection. And a lot of people, since we were talking about profit and talking about the 4 Ps, a lot of people would take that, John, and say, well, yeah, that makes sense. That, you know, hey, I've put together something that earns me a profit, whatever that benefit might be, and now I want to protect that. I'm just going down another level and saying, hey, you better protect the process, the methodology that brought you the profit, because unfortunately there are a lot of business owners out there who give little or no thought to how am I going to protect the process, the methods, the principles that I put in place that earns me that profit.
Wow.
And so a lot of times people will ignore, get this, the asset or assets that bring the profit. In this case, we're talking about perhaps even intellectual properties. A lot of people don't realize that intellectual property is indeed a property, and therefore it is an asset. Why? Because it can be valued.
Right.
If you can quantify the value of an intellectual property, guess what? That may be simply a methodology. It may be a strategy. It may be an implementation of a series of things that are seemingly unrelated, but you've assembled them into some sort of a system or process that brings the profit. And unfortunately, not enough people actually take steps to protect that.
And one of the ways that you could protect that?
One of the ways you protect that is using some of the trade secret laws or some of the intellectual property laws. And there are basically 4. I'm not, you guys know I'm not an attorney, but I've dealt with enough intellectual property to understand that there are 4 basic intellectual property protections that are rules of law that you can implement. One of them, of course, is copyright, that we all know about it here in the media. Trademark, where you actually register a trademark, and then you have intellectual property, and of course patents for things like tools and utilities and so on.
Right.
And you know, a lot of people unfortunately don't use the trade secret rules,
right,
or don't even know that there are rules.
Right.
That's just trade secrets. So, you know, and immediately we've heard of things in companies, big companies, who use trade secrets. Immediately Coca-Cola's recipe comes to mind.
Right.
That's a trade secret,
right,
because it's protected under intellectual property rules. But the minute it becomes public, now it's no longer protected.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. And I think that is something that should jog your mind as an entrepreneur. What are those processes that profit me, as well as the system for which, you know, you may have to buy a piece of machinery that stamps out a widget, and you're going to insure that against fire, flood, or some sort of loss. But that process, that intellectual property process, how do you protect? These are the profit decisions that you've made, not only in your life, but in your business life. And the second P to that is protection. Now that you've made a profitable decision, you've done something that raises or creates profit. The next P is protecting that. How do you protect that goose? Once she starts laying golden eggs.
That's right.
Now, how do you protect her?
That's exactly right.
Now, you know, we have a caller on the line.
Yes, we do.
Errol Allen, and we want to go ahead and go to that caller, Mr. Stephen K. Errol, are you there?
I'm here, John. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Just listening at you too.
Well, we appreciate you for listening. Hey, are we going to see you later at the magazine launch?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Errol, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, man. Y'all doing okay today?
We're doing fantastic, and we're doing even better now that you called.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about what's on your mind.
I'm just listening to you guys talk about the 4 Ps and, you know, profit and protection, and I just agree with what you guys are saying. It's important to understand profit, and it's important to protect that profit. you don't want anybody to kill the goose that's laying the eggs. So.
No doubt.
No, not at all. You want to protect that goose.
That's right. That's right.
So now, Errol, what prompted your call? Because I know we were talking about a couple of things that are near and dear to you, and one of them certainly is profit and protection. I happen to know that you're in business for yourself, and you're certainly successful in that business in and around here in the Houston area. So, what triggered your call today?
Just when you guys got on the 4 Ps, actually, in the beginning, you were talking about the 11 principles.
Mm-hmm.
And John was kind of going through the importance of culture, and it kind of struck me. Another description of that is core values. You have to set up some core values for the business that helps you to everything you do from that point on. You can look back and say, "Are we operating within our core values?"
And then developing those core values, essentially, I think what you're saying will help to create that culture.
That's right. Because everything you do, you can in turn look back and see is that in compliance with our core values.
You know, that makes so much sense too, John and Errol. And one of the things in talking about how that even fits in with protection, because when you set your core values, and Errol, you can jump on this, but when you set as a company your core values, when somebody comes into your organization who is unwilling or unable for whatever reason to come up to those values and operate within those values, those people get really uncomfortable and they generally leave.
Certainly.
On their own.
Certainly.
You don't even have to fire them.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't be here. They won't even tell you a lot of times why they're leaving. They just like, I am out of here.
Out of there.
Yeah, I don't understand you people. I'm out.
Right.
Now,
that's why it's important. That's why it's important to develop core values, so that when you decide to hire someone, you can relate to them what your core values are.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff.
Now, Errol, Irv tells me that you're going to come and do the show with us really soon.
That's right.
That's right. I'm looking forward to it.
I tell you what, we're going to send you an email, my friend, because I'd love to get in deeper with some of these things that you're talking about, and even get your insight when we do the show on how does a company come up with these core values? How do you create them? Because some companies are thinking, well, I think I understand what core values are, but help me figure out how do I develop them? And then secondarily to that, then how do I implement them so that my employees and associates pick them up and they take and adopt these core values?
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, we appreciate your call, Errol.
All right. Now have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. See you later on.
Okay.
All right. Wow, that was a great call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having Errol on the show, man.
As well.
Yeah, he sounds like he's having a glass of wine right now.
Don't make me jealous.
No, I know, right? Errol is so cool, man. I like to catch him. I like to catch him at our lunch parties and things, man, because he's cool and he's so articulate,
Collected all the time.
Yeah, man.
Nothing rattles him.
Yeah, I actually last time I saw Errol, I actually threatened to mess up his hair.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean his hair is he never has a hair out of place. It's ridiculous. I cut mine clean off. After I saw his, I just shaved my head. I gave up.
Well, I tell you what, for those of you who don't know Errol Allen, if you log into smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, he is one of the contributing writers for us, and he's always submitting great content that's customer service related. He talks about core values. He talks about some of those things that must exist, again, in your business model. So we encourage you to definitely do that. Now, we've been talking about the 4 Ps.
Yep.
We've covered profit.
Yep.
We've talked about protection.
Right.
And remember, the P's are essential that you keep them in that order. The first P is profit. Everything that you do must first profit you. And then after you've figured out how it profits you, then you have to develop and quantify how it profits the people that you serve or the people that you're doing business with, your associates, your employees. And then protection. Once you made a profitable decision, you then move into action. You're not going to buy a $100,000 automobile and drive it around without insurance.
That's right.
You're not going to go through the trouble of building a fabulous small business, and you put these profitable processes together, and as Irv said, then fail to protect them.
And that's a failure.
And one of the ways that you talked about protecting those is protecting your intellectual property by using the laws that are available for you to, copyright, patent, or get a trademark on these processes.
And trade secrets.
Another way that you protect your business is being properly structured in terms of being a corporation. And one of the benefits of having a corporation is to protect the corporation, or protect you from the corporation.
That's correct.
If the business is doing something and you've been able to amass a fortune personally, you don't want to have the corporation do something that could come back and challenge your personal corporation.
Right.
But at the same token, you have to protect the corporation from you.
That's exactly right.
Which means that if you go out and you do something and you're sued personally and you go to court, and let's say that you're levied $1 million judgment and you don't have the $1 million,
right?
But you do have the shares that you own in this corporation, and the judge were to say, well, I know you don't have the $1 million to give them, but hey, just give them the 1 million shares that you have in this company that you've built. Who essentially owns your company?
Yeah,
and the person that's suing you.
Great way to wind up an employee again.
Right. So you want to protect the corporation from you and protect you from the corporation, and those are the two P's that we focus on: profit and protection. We come back from the break, we're going to get into the second two P's, and we want to make sure that you're writing all these down. And I don't think that we'll have time today, but we have another set of processes that Irv and I definitely operate by, and we may get into that maybe on tomorrow's show.
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow. I think that'd be great, and I think a lot of people would benefit from that as well. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by DirecTV with over 285 channels and NFL Sunday Ticket. Almost over, John. Yeah. Packages start at just $29.99 a month. Sign up today at 888-344-9296. Stay with us, folks. The education continues right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about the 4 Ps, and these are some of the business principles or tenets that must exist in your business for you to reach that level of profitability that you are searching for. We're talking about these lessons that are sometimes considered non-academic, and we've covered the first P, and this is the order, and it's very important as to the order that you put your P's in. The first P is profit. The second P is protection. That brings us down to the third P.
Pride.
Pride.
Now, you know, a lot of people are going to misread this one, John.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to misread this because when we say pride, folks, we're not necessarily talking about haughtiness. We're not talking about you feeling like you're better than anyone else because, you know, you're a human being just like everybody else. Everybody's the same there. What I'm talking about, John, you can jump in on this, but to me, pride means quality.
Yes.
It means quality, you know, and I got my lesson from my dad because he used to always want me to cut the yard. And boy, I used to just hate that because I wanted to go and play football.
Right.
And he would make me cut the yard. And, you know, and I'd just kind of just, you know, run behind the lawnmower and just
miss patches.
You know, have whole strands 50 feet long, you know, just, you know.
Taller than the rest of the yard.
Yeah. And he would always come out and ask me, he would always say, son, is your name on that? And I used to go, what are you talking about?
Right.
My name is not on the yard, man.
Right.
He's like, no, is your name on that? Are you all right with that? Are you all right with these results?
Does this work speak for Irvin Hughes?
Absolutely. And
That's powerful.
And let me tell you what, John, till this day, I will, rather than half do something, I won't do it at all.
Absolutely.
I just can't do it.
Because you can't put your name on it.
I can't put my name on it. And that, you know, and that's the way my dad ingrained a culture in me about pride. Right. Not that I felt like I was better than the next guy.
Right.
That wasn't the deal.
Right.
It was the quality of work, the body of work that I was involved with. Was that the best that I could have possibly done?
Right.
And with that said, am I all right with that?
And that's exactly what the third P and the 4 P stands for when we say pride. We're not talking about that egotistical pride.
No.
You know, or that that self-promotional pride.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, we're talking about the pride of knowing that you've made the profitable decision.
Sure.
You've protected that decision.
Correct.
You're doing a high quality of work that benefits you as well as your fellow man.
That's
and
right.
In that, you should have pride.
Absolutely.
And as you put it, is your name on that. You should be proud to say that work speaks for me.
Absolutely. And, you know, you hear, you know, we're coming up on really some big, giant events here in our country, sports events, you know, and you hear a lot about body of work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one person was talking in the media today, talking about, well, you know, he was the greatest athlete at his position ever. But he was saying that, and the person who was commentating has statistical superiority. And I'm going to use the word superiority. I don't mean like barely ahead of this person who was saying they were the best ever.
You mean clearly superior.
I mean clearly superior.
Are we talking about a person here?
Yeah, we're talking about a person.
You going to name them?
No.
Okay.
and it was amazing. Well, I'm not naming them because they're in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm not naming.
I don't blame you.
So everybody can figure it out. But here's the point. The point is that I'm all right with that person believing that they're the best that they can be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all right with that. I like to believe I'm the best that I can be, and I strive to be better than I think I can be.
Surely.
But to say something like that, that's the kind of pride that I'm talking about that we should, as business owners, never get into. That's what I'm talking about. That's an example of what not to do.
What not to do.
Right.
And I have to concur with that. I think you're so right. And you said it best at the top of the segment when you talked about, you know, your father saying is your name on that. That to me is just that epitomizes the type of pride that we're talking about.
No doubt.
Do you associate that body of work or that quality of work with who you are? Does it speak for you?
That's right.
And I believe that in your organization, you want to be certain that you hire individuals that have that same mindset. Those individuals who believe that they'd rather not do it if it can't be done to their own specifications.
Exactly right. And let me just tell you, folks, don't lower your standards, even for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed at the number of people who will come out and say all kinds of things about other people's work, but they will lower their own standards.
Right.
And, you know, my thing is you need to keep your standards higher for yourself. I like to say this, I tell my kids this all the time. It's like, look, if you're going to go out and kick somebody's butt, you got to kick your own butt first.
Absolutely.
Don't kick somebody, don't offer up to kick somebody in the butt and you ain't kicking your own.
Right. And that's the, throwing stones and,
that's exactly
living in a glass house, or however that goes.
That's exactly right.
So we're talking about the 4 P's. The first P is profit. The second P is protection. The third P is pride. And the P's are very, very important. It's very, very important that you keep these P's in their proper order.
Absolutely.
And that brings us up to the 4th P.
Yeah, so pleasure.
Pleasure.
Now, you just came off of what could have been, I guess, a pleasurable experience.
It was, although we did work.
Yeah.
But it was also pleasurable.
Were you proud of the work you did?
Very much so.
See, there you go. Now, here's the point. You already practice this. You and I practice these 4 Ps. And for our listening audience, a lot of people can even start to feel guilty if you tell them that you should be in a position where you can enjoy and take pleasure in what you've done.
Certainly. Understand that life and business is about balance.
No doubt.
It just purely is. And the balance to having your P's in the proper order as it relates to profit, protection, and pride, there must be pleasure. There must be a time where you can pull away and take some time for yourself and enjoy the fruits of your labor, enjoy what you've built. But it only should be done. Pleasure should only be taken when your other P's are in their proper order.
Pleasure is the caboose.
It is the caboose, and it is necessary.
Absolutely necessary. I'm reminded. One of my best friends in life and business partners. I've been very fortunate over the years. Happens to be my wife. And one of the things I always admired about her is her work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she would work to the point where I would take her offline.
Right.
And it would be amazing to watch when she would board the plane for us to go to some place where she could cool her jets, so to speak, how she would had the ability to forget whatever it is she had been through the minute she would board the plane.
Mm-hmm.
She could start to decompress right then.
Wow.
And, she would take pleasure in that, knowing, though, that she had done the best that she could possibly do. And I always admired that about her as a business person.
I love that.
Yeah, very
Now,
cool.
you guys are taking a little short hop to New
New
York City. I have to go ahead and say it.
My gosh. I can't believe you're saying that on the air.
I'm sorry. Because
my wife is going to hang me.
Oh, my goodness. Was I not supposed to say anything?
No, she knows.
Oh, okay.
But still, my wife's still going to hang me. She's going to, why are y'all talking about that on the show?
Well, the reason I'm talking about that is because if you're in the New York area, and you love to have an opportunity to possibly have coffee with her, you should send him an email.
Absolutely. Send me an email. We'll be happy to join you. And we'll send you details if you think you want to join me over in New York City.
Now how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can email me at irvin@cruiseandhughes.com, and that's ERVIN @cruiseandhughes.com.
And Ms. Verrill, I'm just
you bubbling it out, man.
I'm just going crazy.
Well, that's all right. She'll get off the floor in just a minute.
Mrs. Hughes, I am so sorry. You must forgive me. I'm coming off of a vacation.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. More in a moment, right after the ambulance.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the deuce up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We've been talking about a little bit of everything, and guys, I'm going to be in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. I'm going to New Orleans this weekend, so if you happen to be in the New Orleans area, you like to sit down and talk for a few minutes and just meet and shake hands, I'd love the opportunity to meet you. You can send me an email at John, John, at cruzandhughes.com. I'm going to be there all weekend, so send me an email if you're one of our listeners in the greater New Orleans area. I'd love to meet you and speak with you.
Wow, so you're going to sit there and have beignets?
Why not?
With some of our listeners?
Absolutely.
How cool is that?
And if they're buying,
yeah,
I'll stay even longer. But
yeah.
Now, you have a seminar coming up.
Yeah, that's right. I have a seminar, folks, that's coming up on this Friday at the end of the week. It's going to be at the Kingdom Builder Center at 6011 West Orem. It's going to be from 10 a.m. till 12 noon. And we're going to be talking about government contracting and how to get your business increasing sales by selling some stuff to the government, whether that's goods or services or what have you. We're going to talk about goods. But if you're selling services right now, you don't want to miss this event. It's a free event. And so to get signed up for that, you can just go to www.net30credit.com or give us a call at 800-381-0073 and we'll get you registered.
And guys, for those of you who are not in the Houston area, don't fret. Urban is going to be giving these classes throughout the year.
Yep.
And he's adding a web element to this,
right,
so that
even
if you're not in this city, that you'll have the ability to participate very, very soon. So we've been getting a few emails about individuals who want to know when that's happening.
Sure,
so
absolutely. Coming soon, folks.
I know you're working on it. Today we've been talking about the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps are profit, protection, pride and pleasure. Your P's must be in that order. So make sure that you mind your P's and you have them in the right order. And tomorrow we'll add something to that.
Absolutely.
Guys, you've been listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspire entrepreneurs from thought to action. We appreciate you listening to Irv and myself. If you'd like to get a copy of the Small Business Magazine that we produce monthly, you can go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. In the meantime, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care.